Hey Jack, what the hell, man?
Huh? What are you talking about?
About the business trip yesterday. The reason that you weren't able to secure the deal yesterday. You blamed it on me to the higher-ups. I was called up by the executive manager on the way back.
Really? I mean, it's not really my fault. I was just telling the truth.
That's not true at all. The only reason that contract didn't go through was because of you. Not only were you over 30 minutes late, you reeked of alcohol and made some terrible presentation while you weren't even able to speak properly.
I just couldn't talk really well because I was nervous.
Oh, come on. You really think that's gonna work as an excuse?
What did you want from me then? We were literally in New York. It's Brooklyn. There are so many fun things to do around there.
You understand we were there for business, right?
You understand we were in Brooklyn, right? If you don't play in Brooklyn, you aren't a real man. What a pity. You don't have a sliver of manliness on you.
And you don't have a sliver of common sense in you.
Common sense? You can tell common sense to go screw itself.
I understand that you're a piece of shit, but just because you went out to drink at night doesn't mean that you're allowed to be late at work. And this was over a really important contract.
Just like I reported to our bosses, it's your fault, no matter every which way you look at it.
It's your fault! How is it that you didn't show up in time? And somehow it's my fault.
It's your fault. You didn't wake me up.
What? You're in your 30s, dude! You seriously waiting on someone else to come wake you up?
If you're staying in the same hotel, then you should at least come check on me.
You literally told me not to come wake you up. You said you wanted to focus on the presentation till the very end. That's why we were gonna meet up at that company HQ, right? Was that the story? And then you turned around and reported me for not having enough documents prepared, and so it wasn't enough to satisfy our clients, but I still haven't figured out what you were thinking.
That kind of makes sense in a way, right?
No! Until you showed up real late, we could have been perfectly fine without your presentation at all. All of my documents were enough. We already spoke and agreed. Then we were talking about hashing out the details when you showed up with some kind of weird attitude about everything. And that's how it all was ruined.
And?
What the hell do you mean, and?
Who can actually prove any of that?
What?
The only people that were there were you and I. No one can prove any of what you said. And that's why I said something first and blamed it on you. I think you're screwed, pal. You let that giant contract get away.
It's not my fault, so I plan on proving that I had nothing to do with the whole thing falling through. I'm gonna go get that deal too.
Of course you can't. You're a terrible public speaker. That's why I was in charge of the presentation anyway.
Yeah, you might be better than me at doing the presentation, sure. But you don't have any kind of common sense. That means I'm miles ahead of you in work.
You realize that I was only just being nice to you because we had joined at the same time, but I'm going to be getting promotions and you're going to be working for me soon.
What, promotions?
You didn't know about it? The manager is going to be moving to the overseas branch, so I'm going to be taking over him now.
That's not gonna happen.
At first it was between you and I. But now that you let that contract get away, you're apparently no longer on the running list. Sorry to break it to ya.
I don't believe it. There's no way you would be my boss over my dead body.
Even if you don't agree to it, the higher-ups already know who is useful and who isn't useful. This means that you're going to be living a pretty boring and mundane life at work.
I don't know about that.
Oh, what now? You have something you want to tell me about? You really gonna try and argue with your boss?
I don't think you're gonna be my boss. Remember when you went out on business last time? You spent company money when you were out alone. You said that was money that was used for our clients.
What?
Yeah, I couldn't believe it either. I looked up the history on your card use. When you were going away on business, our company seems to be spending quite a bit of money. even when you don't need to be dealing with clients. And this time around, I can prove that you didn't do anything with clients. I have proof.
I did go out with the clients. Yeah, for sure. They were out with me. While you were asleep. I was hard at work going out with our clients. You probably didn't even know that, though.
I know that you didn't.
Huh?
I talked about it at the conference. I asked if they were really okay with not going out beforehand to get acquainted. They said that they had a really important business meeting the night before, and that the contract was completely reliant on whether or not they would like the presentation. So they didn't want any of the social stuff. They told me straight and clear.
Really?
That's how I know for a fact that you didn't do anything with them. And I've already reported all of my findings to the executive manager.
What? To the manager?
Yeah, the manager. I was called up a second ago. And when he asked me about how you were saying you went out with him, he wanted me to check to make sure you were telling the truth. I told him the truth, of course.
But you have no proof, right?
That's why he's checking all of your charges now. He's calling the other companies. You went home on time, but we're staying overtime to check on your expenses. I was also helping him. Just looking up all your expenses, making sure you weren't just having fun on the company's money.
Huh? My expenses?
Something seems so off. Even when you were going fairly close, you were charging for the first-class tickets on planes. But I'm sure that we were driving or taking the bus, or am I just mistaken?
No, you are mistaken.
I also feel like you're charging a little more. Every time you use some money, you charge just a little bit more. You're definitely embezzling company money, ain't you?
Of course not. Don't say things like that when you're just amusing.
And to add to things, you were also adding some kind of club during your business meetings. The receipt is literally in the records.
Huh?
I don't think you can claim this to be a business meeting. When I searched up the name of the club, it was definitely a sketchy nightclub.
You looked up the name of the store? Why would you go that far?
You ruined your one shot at the biggest contract of the year, and then you try to blame it on me before bailing.
Fine. I'll report it back to the executive manager tomorrow.
What are you gonna say?
That I was also partially responsible. I'll report it to him, I swear. It wasn't just your responsibility. It's not like it was all your fault that we didn't secure the deal. I promised to report it to him.
That's not the issue here. I have no responsibility for that. The executive manager already finished looking everything up. I have no problems.
Huh? What are you talking about?
You already checked up on all your expenses. The other company also confirmed that you reek of alcohol, that you were 30 minutes late, but you never explained why you were late. You suddenly jumped into explaining the project and the new merchandise. So everything I just presented to them was completely ruined.
They said that? You made them say that, didn't you?
I didn't make them say anything, it's the truth. It was all just factual information.
Stop messing with me! This is going to screw over my annual review!
Yeah, maybe. I already reported my findings about the company's spending. Accounting is gonna be launching a formal investigation on your case tomorrow.
You're kidding. You're just messing with me, right?
I'm sure you're doing a lot of crazy things that you don't want them to find out, right? You use a company card to go to suggestive and sketchy club. There's no way you're gonna be getting promotions pulling crap like that.
If I don't get a promotion because of all this being found out, it's your fault!
Yeah, I don't know about the promotion. I think you might even lose your job.
Huh? I don't think it'll be that bad.
You were using the company money for yourself, and you literally lost the biggest contract because you couldn't just keep it in your pants for a little bit.
It's not just my fault. Please, can you tell the executive manager too? Tell him that I was working hard day in and day out. I'm begging you, buddy.
The company from Brooklyn said that if I went alone to explain everything, they might reconsider turning down the contract. In other words, they said it was just you. You ruined the whole thing for them.
But I do great work when I work. I'm sorry, please. I'm about to get married. You know that, right?
You're about to get married, and you were going to these sketchy clubs? I think that Loretta is gonna find out tomorrow, too.
That's not okay.
It's gonna be all the buzz about you embezzling. Your marriage and the contract. You might even lose your job. I guess this is what you mean about being manly. Accounting was able to find out that Jack was embezzling company money this whole time. He was called up to HR and forced to quit on his own. And not only was he using company money for his own, he was using it at sketchy nightclubs. The whole thing was rumored around the office. Loretta, his fiancée, had caught wind of it. He was dumped in a spectacular fashion. As a result, he quit his job and was forced to pay back all the money that he embezzled. He had lost his fiancée as well. Right before he quit and left, he was angry and complaining about Travis, but Travis was already the manager, so he just scolded him and was escorted out of the building. He's gonna have a tough time going forward.